Okay, so let's set up some functionality for the actual walls or the horizontal boundaries of the object. This is, of course, the tutorial on how to make Pong in UE4. So we're going to need some boundaries to make it much more like Pong. How are we going to do that? Very similar to the process we had here, but in fact, perhaps a little bit different. Let's just double check. Yep, not too bad at all. It's in fact going to be almost the exact same process, but instead of reversing the Y, we're going to reverse the X. Let's go ahead and just grab a copy of all this, pull that down. Oops, let me try that again. Grab the whole thing, Control W to copy, pull that down. And then instead of the paddle pawn here, we're going to drag off this guy, and we're going to do a cast to, just type in boundary. BP horizontal boundary comes up. And we'll grab some of this stuff, we'll plug this guy into here, get the physics linear velocity. Oh, I'm not sure we even need that. That's the cool thing about it. So, get rid of this. This is the actual paddle velocity. We don't need that. We don't need any of this stuff up here for the randomness. All we gotta do is drag this over. And we're getting the velocity of the actual ball. Plug that into here. So this is the velocity of the ball, just like we had here. Then we've got our breaking it down into 3 components. And we're going to be not using the Y, but in fact, like I said, the x-axis. Plug that into there. Negative 1.0. That'll reverse the x-axis direction, and then set the physics velocity. So just again, cast to the horizontal boundary. So that's the top and the bottom. Get the velocity of the ball. Break the vector into 3 components. Reverse the x. Pass the y and z in because we're not affecting those, and then just set the physics velocity again. So you're setting this what you got here. Let's see what happens. Before we continue though, remember I said if the cast is successful and the cast fails. So if it overlapped something but it didn't hit the paddle, then we want to say, well, see if it hit something else. Did it hit the horizontal boundary? And if it did hit the horizontal boundary, then do this. But if it didn't hit the horizontal boundary, then it could do something else. And so you'll see this order will kind of follow through. So we'll pull off from here, plug the cast failed into this one, and we'll just kind of make a series for all different objects here. But anyway, that's how it works. So we got this. Let's see what happens now when we play the game. Oops, let me just see if that was a little too hard. A little too soft. Oop, hits the top there and bounces. How about on the bottom? Boink. Now we've got some basic boundaries. So you got it hitting the walls and hitting the paddle. One last thing we want to do is make it so that when it hits the goal on either side, it will actually start back at the beginning. And we'll expand on this functionality with time. Go back to your BP ball, and inside of here we'll just grab our horizontal boundary, or rather we're going to build this from scratch again because this isn't necessarily as relevant as we want it to be. So how are we going to do this? It's not too bad, but we'll figure it out. Drag off from your other actor here again, cast to, let's see, let's start with left. Actually we'll make it goal. Let's type in goal. Cast the left boundary, or left goal. Plug in your cast failed into here, so if it's not hitting the boundary, or the horizontal boundary, see if it's hitting a goal. If it is hitting a goal, what happens in Pong when you hit a goal? Goes over the side, hits this outside wall, then it spawns the ball back in the middle, and then updates someone's score. We're not going to update the score now, we'll do that later. We're just going to basically grab the ball and bring it back to center. And then change some of its velocity. So we'll go, okay, we got it. It hit a left goal, and we want to set its position back to the center. That's pretty easy. Set actor location. Oops, that's not right. Set actor location. Alright, so here we are. So what we're going to do is just going to set it up so that when the ball gets hit on one side, it returns the ball to the other side to continue. Shouldn't be too bad. Basically, we're going to return it to the value that we got when we actually began the game, which is a velocity something like this. But depending on who hits it out, it should be either positive or negative 2,000. So with when it hits the left ball, hits the left goal, it should be just a 2,000 value. So it's setting the velocity or setting the location. Oh, I'm sorry, not there. That should be back to 0. We're going to create a new one that says set physics linear velocity, and in here we're going to put the 2,000 in. We'll just let that save. So now when it's hit out of bounds to the left goal, it sets it back to 0, sets the linear velocity to 2000, that way it hits the other guy, and then that's all we really need. Copy this whole thing, drag it down. On the cast failed, check the next one. I don't want that, so actually remove that. Cast to right goal. Plug that guy in, and in this case we'll be reversing the value. Cool, so that should do it. Let's see what happens when we play the game and miss. Didn't seem to work. Why is that, right? Not quite sure here. Let's have a look at what's going on. So we got our right goal here, and we got our left goal over there. Got our ball right in the center. Hits our paddle, right? But it doesn't continue. Why is that? Maybe it's because I didn't plug this in. And I should let it so it doesn't hit the paddle. Nope, there it is, yep. So when it gets hit out of bounds, the ball goes over to the other side. You see on both times it reverses direction, comes back to the center. That's exactly the functionality that we want. Awesome. So with that in mind, let's continue on. We've got our boundaries looking great. We've got our ball. It bounces off, hits the other side. Looks pretty good. And if this comes over, I can go, ooh, and hit it real hard. It goes flying up, hits out on that side. Looks like a real game. But one significant thing that might notice is missing is the other paddle. So that will take a little bit of work to get that going. So I think we'll end this video here, having gotten this ball collision working correctly. And next video, we'll program the artificial intelligence, in quotes, I mean, it's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, of the other paddle to play a game with us, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so thanks a lot for watching. If you appreciate this video, feel free to like and subscribe and comment, and I also have fan funding if you're interested in supporting this channel further. Thank you very much, and see you later.